When I pushed the divorce papers in front of my husband, I saw him freeze for a split second. But only for a second. For someone like him, an iceberg who wouldn't flinch if a mountain collapsed in front of him, that momentary freeze was a milestone for me. He picked up the papers and started reading. 10 minutes later, he looked up and asked, "Are you sure about this?" I nodded. "I'm sure." He calmly picked up a pen and signed his name. "Thank you," I said. "But there's a 1-month waiting period. During that time, can I have our daughter with me? Once the divorce is finalized, I'll bring her back. I promise I won't fight you for custody." He pushed the papers back to me. "Fine." I smiled, picked up the agreement, and stared at his face for a few long seconds before turning to leave. A beginning and an end. A final period on my long, secret crush. I met Liam through a family introduction. The first time I saw him, it felt like I'd won the lottery. He was the upperclassman I'd had a secret crush on for 2 years in college. I thought we'd go our separate ways after graduation, but I never imagined I'd end up on a blind date with him. Things moved quickly after that. I was all in, and he didn't object. We dated for a year, got married, and a year after that, we had our daughter. We nicknamed her Blaze. I picked the name because her dad was so cold, and I didn't want our child to inherit his personality. I figured the name might balance things out. But as it turned out, Blaze had a fiery temper, the complete opposite of her father. Liam could never understand why she was like that, so unlike either of us. But I knew. It was because she was just like me. My usual calmness was just an act. 3 years into our marriage, Liam missed another New Year's Eve. I watched the fireworks with Blaze and kissed her little face. The kiss tickled her and she giggled, "Mommy, you're silly." I hugged her tight, letting 2 tears fall onto her little bunny hat. I didn't want to leave Blaze, but I knew she'd have the best of everything with Liam. A stable life, the best schools. She wouldn't have that with me, a mother determined to get a divorce and start over in the world. A couple of weeks after the new year, I handed the divorce papers to Liam. He didn't ask why. He just signed them. I got the marriage certificate, had a few years of married life, and soon I'd have the divorce certificate. A full circle from my unrequited love. I went home, packed a suitcase, and took Blaze with me. Despite her fiery temper, Blaze could be incredibly well-behaved and obedient. She didn't make a peep on the train, just sat quietly in my lap, watching the scenery fly by. The woman sitting next to us was completely charmed by her, telling me how pretty and good she was. Blaze reached out a tiny hand and patted the woman's arm. "Hi, Grandma." Her sweet, milky voice melted everyone around us. A young woman leaned over. "Ma'am, I took a video of your little girl. She's so cute, can I post it online?" Before I could answer, Blaze nodded. "Okay." The young woman let out a soft squeal. I smiled and nodded too. "Well, my daughter said it's okay, so it's okay." I took Blaze to a city, ready to enjoy a month of freedom. And Blaze was my perfect little travel and dining companion. I held her tiny hand in mine. It was so small, so cute. I snapped a picture and posted it online. Off on an adventure with my travel buddy. Less than 3 minutes later, my phone rang. I answered. "Where did you take Blaze?" I hugged Blaze and gave her a kiss. "We're in a city. I'm going to show her a good time. Don't let her get too wild. Be safe. Don't go out at night, and get back to the hotel early." I mumbled my agreement, a little surprised. When did Liam learn to worry like that? But I didn't dwell on it. "I know. A city. Do you have friends there?" Liam asked. The question caught me off guard. I hadn't even thought about it. But to make him feel like we were safe, I lied. "Yeah, I have friends here." I knew it. Before I could figure out what he meant, he hung up. What was that about? Still, he'd given me an idea. I was about to post on my socials to see if anyone was in a city. Then I saw my last post already had a bunch of likes. One comment caught my eye. "Ryan, where are you? Got room for one more at the table?" I immediately called him. "Ryan, you're in a city?" "Yeah." "How come you came all this way without saying anything? Your husband didn't come with you?" "No, he's busy. I just brought our daughter." He laughed. "Your husband is always so busy, isn't he? Seems like he never has time for you." "Well, he has to make money for me," I said. I left out the second part. "He needs to earn my alimony." The next day, I took Blaze to have dinner with Ryan. Blaze could already use chopsticks by herself. Ryan was so impressed by how well behaved she was, he was completely smitten. Can I be her godfather? Before I could say a word, Blaze raised her hand. Okay. Me. Hey, it wasn't my decision. Blaze picked her own godfather. That afternoon, Blaze was happily buried in a mountain of stuffed animals Ryan had bought for her. Ryan, you're spoiling her. You can't just buy everything she says she likes. How am I supposed to get all this home? Blaze looked at me with pleading eyes, terrified I was going to leave her new toys behind. She turned to Ryan. Godfather. Ryan immediately stepped up. Don't you worry. Your godfather will get them home for you. Blaze was thrilled and snuggled up next to Ryan to keep playing. I gritted my teeth. That little master manipulator. I took a picture of the two of them and posted it. Ugh, I've been replaced. A minute later, Liam's call came through. Did Ryan buy her those stuffed animals? Me. Was he stalking my social media? Yes, why? Liam let out a cold laugh. You're there on vacation, not moving in. What's the point of buying so many toys? What's your plan for dealing with them now? Do you have any kind of viable solution? His words made my mind go blank. Here it comes, my daily lecture. Nothing to say? Use your brain next time. And you let Blaze sit so close to Ryan. What were you thinking? That's your daughter, and you let her sit that close to a strange man. What if he has bad intentions or some kind of psychological issue? If something happened to Blaze, you'd regret it for the rest of your life. I could feel my heart pounding, my hands starting to tremble. What was Liam talking about? How could he say something so awful about his own daughter? Do you have any idea what you're saying? Are you even human? Cursing your own child? I bit back the second half of that sentence, remembering Ryan was still here. Just then, Blaze scrambled into my lap. Mommy, look at this little bear, it's so cute. Play with me, Mommy, don't be on the phone. Blaze's voice snapped me out of my daze. She was right. I was getting a divorce. Why was I still listening to Liam's twisted lectures? If there's nothing else, I'm hanging up. With that, I ended the call. Honestly, when we first got married, I didn't see it. But over time, I realized he was a master of the silent treatment and PUA tactics. Without even noticing, I had let him constantly belittle me. He never said a single good thing about me. If something didn't go his way, he'd immediately start with the passive-aggressive comments and twisted logic. My friend said he just had this bizarre need to control me. I knew it wasn't healthy. I had to get away from him before I completely lost myself, which is why I decided on a divorce. I looked down at my daughter playing with the little bear in my lap. Liam had always been good to Blaze before. But if his punching bag, was gone, would he turn his attitude on her? I'd been a stay-at-home mom for years, never really entering the workforce after college. I couldn't provide for Blaze on my own. It was just like what Liam had said when I first brought up divorce. Without me, you're nothing. You can't do anything. Don't overestimate yourself. Yes, you did well in school, but the real world isn't school. Don't think your little tricks will work out here. Think it over. If you really want a divorce, bring me the papers. If this is just a threat, I'll give you a way out and we can pretend today never happened. He probably never expected me to show up with the signed papers just 2 days later. And I never expected him to agree so readily. But thinking back on his expression then, he was probably just waiting to see how pathetic I'd become without him. Godfather, how are you going to send all these toys home for me? I want to take them all home, Blaze asked, twisting her little pigtails. There are lots of ways. Godfather can pack them up for you and check them as luggage, or I can find someone to drive you guys back, or we can ship them. It's easy. Leave it to me, I'll take care of it. Blaze clapped her hands. Mommy, Godfather is so amazing, way better than Daddy. Daddy just calls Mommy dumb and never helps her figure things out. I nearly choked on my own spit. Blaze, don't say things like that. Blaze pouted. But I'm not making it up. That's what Daddy says. Use your brain. Is it just for decoration? My face flushed. How did Blaze know all this? Ryan skillfully changed the subject. Is Blaze's IQ a little too high? She's only 2 and she can already express herself so well. On this topic, I got a little excited. I think she's amazing too. We had her IQ tested, but but it was just normal. Maybe she's just a little bit smarter than average. I remember one time I overheard Blaze, all by herself, reciting a complex classical poem while playing with her toys. I was so sure she was a genius that I took her to get her IQ tested right away. But the results came back normal. When I told Liam, he said his genes made her smart, while my genes were probably holding her back. And at the time, I actually believed him. I felt so guilty, like I was the one dragging her down. Later, when I was talking to my neighbor, she went off on Liam, calling him a narcissistic delusional. She then spent an hour convincing me that I was great. Thinking about it now, I really miss my neighbor. Thanks to her constant help and encouragement over the past couple of years, I finally found the courage to divorce Liam. Years of marriage had made me forget how vibrant I used to be. Trying so hard to become the perfect wife and mother according to Liam and his parents' standards was a huge mistake. Mommy, Godfather said he's taking us out to play tomorrow. I patted her little head. Ryan, you don't have to trouble yourself. I can take Blaze out on my own. She's very good. Blaze giggled and hugged my arm. Blaze is the best. She stood up to give me a hug, and I held her, smiling happily. You just got to a city, you don't know the area. I'll show you around. It's the weekend anyway, I've got plenty of time to spend with you too. Hearing this, Blaze stuck out her two little hands and clapped. Godfather is the best. Daddy never plays with me on weekends, he just stays home and plays video games. Godfather is better than Daddy. Can Godfather be my daddy? I clapped a hand over her mouth. Sorry, Ryan. Kids say the darndest things. Ryan just smiled and waved it off. Blaze is seriously the smartest kid I've ever met. Don't argue. I'll pick you two up tomorrow. You guys get some rest. He stood up. Blaze, Godfather is leaving now. Sleep well. And tomorrow we'll go have fun. My hand was still over Blaze's mouth so she couldn't speak, but she waved her little hands frantically and nodded to show she understood. After he left, I held Blaze and had her stand in front of me. I sat on the rug so we were eye level. Blaze, you can't just tell people everything, okay? Blaze's lip trembled, and she burst into tears. Wah. Her crying broke my heart, and I quickly pulled her into my arms. Through her sobs, Blaze managed to get out. Daddy's mean, don't like him. Godfather's nice, like Godfather. I sighed and held her tighter. What am I going to do? If she finds out her father and I are getting divorced and I'm not taking her with me, is she going to fall apart? Blaze was fast asleep, but I couldn't sleep a wink. I didn't want to give Blaze to Liam. Sure, he could provide for her financially, but what if he warped her personality? How could I let such a wonderful daughter get ruined? But I didn't have a way to make money. That was the bottom line. I couldn't give Blaze the best. If I took her with me, we'd just be living off my savings. The next morning, I woke up to find Blaze sitting next to me holding my phone. Blaze, why do you have my phone? Blaze handed it to me. Godfather called. I told him Mommy was sleeping and you'd call him back when you woke up. I took the phone and called Ryan back, arranging to meet him downstairs in half an hour. Today, Blaze had clipped 2 little cat ears into her hair. She was unbearably cute. When Ryan picked us up, he showered her with compliments until she was beaming. After a full day of fun, Blaze was drenched in sweat. I rushed her back to the hotel, afraid she'd catch a cold. But as I pushed open the door to our room, I saw Liam sitting on the sofa. The backpack in my hand fell to the floor. Blaze, who had been dozing on my shoulder, was jolted awake by the thud. She turned her head and saw her father. I think I heard a tiny "oh crap" me. But when I looked at Blaze, she was just staring at Liam with a drowsy, confused look. It must have been my imagination. Liam casually tossed a stuffed animal aside. It rolled off the sofa and onto the rug. Didn't I tell you not to go out at night? Do you have any idea what could happen if you two ran into a bad person? It's one thing if you don't care about yourself, but Blaze is innocent. Why should she have to suffer because of you? I put Blaze down on the bed, grabbed my phone, and started texting while saying to her, Blaze, if you're sleepy, just go back to sleep. Blaze mumbled an okay, and was out like a light. I tossed my phone aside and faced Liam. What are you doing here? He sneered. It's obvious you don't know how to raise a child, so I came to take Blaze back. I see she hasn't gotten wild, but you certainly have. He laughed and I laughed right back. Since she was born, I've barely seen you lift a finger. I've been the one taking care of her. You've never changed a diaper or fed her a meal. And you're telling me I don't know how to raise a child? If I don't, do you? Liam's face turned cold. Who taught you to talk like that? What happened to the gentle, soft-spoken woman I married? I only married you because you were obedient. Look at you now. It must be your friends who've corrupted you. Don't you know a wife is supposed to listen to her husband? Thinking about the last 3 years made my stomach turn. Liam, you're a real disappointment. Liam froze. I had just thrown his favorite line right back at him. Once he processed it, his expression soured. Mia, what's that supposed to mean? What do you mean you're disappointed in me? How have I disappointed you? What right do you have to say you're disappointed? Who are you to say that? I smiled. So you know how much that word hurts, huh? Someone says it to you once and you lose it. Have you ever thought about how you've said it to me dozens, hundreds of times over the past 3 years? I'm finally free of it. I was so naive. I thought the most important thing was to be a good wife according to your and your parents' standards. Looking back, it was just idiotic. If it weren't for Blaze keeping me sane, you all would have turned me into a helpless fool. You thought you'd broken me down into someone who could only take care of a kid at home, who'd be lost and clueless out in the world, didn't you? His face darkened even more, as if I'd hit a nerve. The divorce papers are signed. It's not appropriate for you to be in my room. You should go. Liam glanced at Blaze sleeping on the bed. I'm taking her with me. I blocked his path. You promised I could have her for this month. Liam looked at my arm blocking him and grabbed it. I've changed my mind. I'm taking her now. I want to see if a heartless mother like you can enjoy her little vacation in a city all by herself. He lunged for the bed and scooped Blaze up. The sudden movement startled Blaze awake, and she let out a piercing scream. Mommy. I want Mommy. Ah. I don't want you. I want Mommy. I tried to grab her back, but I was no match for Liam's strength. He started for the door, holding our daughter. I grabbed him from behind. Put Blaze down. You're scaring her. Blaze was crying so hard she could barely breathe. I screamed and pulled at Liam, getting dragged toward the door. Just as he reached it, the door swung open. It was Ryan. My heart settled. I had texted him to come save me, and he actually came back. I had intentionally left the door unlatched, propping it with the key card. In the moment Liam was stunned, Ryan snatched Blaze from his arms. Seeing Ryan, Blaze cried even louder. Godfather, save me. My daddy's trying to kill me. Liam. You little brat, what are you talking about? Godfather, save me. Call the police. Godfather, make the policeman take him away and lock him up. Seeing Blaze in such a state, Ryan's anger flared. Liam, is this how you act as a husband and a father? But Liam just laughed, a bitter, angry sound. Wow, Mia. So you're not just cheating on me. You're having my daughter call your lover daddy? You've really outdone yourself. What? You brought your new man here to back you up. Just like I said, right? You can't do anything on your own. You relied on me when we were married, and now you're relying on another man for your divorce. I was furious. I slapped him across the face. Liam, are you insane? Do you get some sick pleasure out of insulting me? Haven't you gaslit me enough for 3 whole years? Haven't you made me sick enough? We've signed the divorce papers. Can't you just leave me alone? Did I dig up your ancestors' graves in a past life or something? Is that why you have to torture me in this one? Liam processed the slap, then shoved me to the ground and raised his hand to hit me. He was too fast. Ryan was holding Blaze and couldn't intervene. As I saw the blow coming, I squeezed my eyes shut, resigned. But then, stop. What do you think you're doing? 2 police officers suddenly rushed in and restrained Liam. Everyone in the room froze. Where did the police come from? I never would have guessed that out of everyone in the room, it would be Blaze who reacted first. She let out a wail. Officer, save me. My daddy's trying to kill me, and he's going to hit my mommy. Save me. I'm just a little kid. I don't want to die. Me. Has she been watching too much daytime drama? The police heard kill and immediately took us all down to the station. It turned out they were doing a routine check at the hotel and heard shouting from our floor. They thought something serious was happening and rushed up. And just like that, they scooped us all up. The body cam was running the whole time, so it perfectly captured Liam about to hit me. Blaze sat in a female officer's lap, tears and snot streaming down her face, denouncing her own father. To me, it sounded more like she was just heaping false accusations on him. He hits mommy, he yells at mommy, he won't let mommy have friends, he locks mommy up, he calls mommy dumb, and he said she was cheating. I buried my face in my hands. This was so embarrassing. Where on earth did she learn all this? I certainly didn't teach her. Ryan, however, was looking at Blaze with pure admiration. Are you sure that IQ test was accurate? Me. Thinking back on all of Blaze's unusual actions and words, a chill ran down my spine. Was this Blaze really my daughter? Meanwhile, Liam's face had gone pale. Are you out of your mind? Anya, shut your mouth. I'm your father. What nonsense are you spewing? Did your mother teach you to say this? The female officer shot him a glare. Just answer the questions. She's only 2 years old. Do you really think she can lie? I lowered my head, feeling guilty. Thankfully, Blaze didn't have to give an official statement. I don't know how I would have explained it. In the end, Liam was officially cited for domestic violence. I saw the corners of Blaze's mouth twitch into a smile. I took Blaze back to the hotel. Liam had shown his ID and our marriage certificate, so the front desk had given him a key, assuming he was traveling with me. When I returned, the staff apologized profusely. I wasn't angry. It wasn't their fault. I packed our things and took Blaze to a new hotel that Ryan had booked for me. I sat on the sofa, holding Blaze, just staring into space. Blaze reached out a tiny hand and patted my cheek. I looked down at her and couldn't stop myself from asking, "Are you really Blaze?" Blaze blinked, then smiled sweetly. "Yes, I'm Blaze. The Blaze who came to help mommy." I pulled her into my arms and burst into tears. After a few more days of sightseeing with Blaze, I stumbled upon a viral video online. It was the clip of me and Blaze on the train. Blaze was sitting there so quietly, not making a fuss at all. The comments section was going crazy. They want us to have kids? I'll take this one. OMG, are quiet kids really this amazing? She's so good, and that little voice. Wow, her mom is so elegant. Can we find this mom? I want to see more of this kid. Can she start an account? I showed the video to Blaze. She cackled with glee. 2 days later, I got a call. It was a company that wanted to shoot a commercial for a mother and baby product. They had seen the viral video, thought Blaze and I were perfect, and had spent a long time tracking down my contact info. I was initially going to refuse, but then Blaze suddenly said, "Mommy can provide for Blaze now." It was like a light bulb went off. If I had a way to make money, I could support Blaze. I could take her with me. After what happened at the hotel, there was no way I was leaving Blaze with Liam. I was convinced he had a violent streak, and I was terrified he would hurt her. So I sent Liam a message, telling him I was taking Blaze with me after the divorce. He refused. And then he wrote back, "Mia, be good. Come home. Let's not get divorced. Weren't the 3 of us happy together? Why are you making such a fuss about this? But you already agreed to the divorce." Liam got agitated. "That's because I thought you were faking it, trying to challenge me, using divorce as a threat. I thought you'd come to your senses during the waiting period and drop it. Who knew that on the very first day I'd see that creep Ryan in your pictures, cozying up to you? You know what that means, don't you?" I gave a bitter laugh. "Liam, you're really a lost cause. Mia, I'm telling you, I'm not agreeing to a divorce anymore. The waiting period isn't over. If I don't agree, you can't leave." I took a deep breath. "Liam, we can't go on like this. After everything that's happened, we can't go back. And besides, I don't want to go back. I've had enough of that life. I'm not getting divorced. One day you'll realize how good I was to you. You've never experienced the real world. You don't understand anything. It's a cruel world out there. Do you think it's so easy? You don't have any skills. Even if you divorce me, you'll just be living off the assets and alimony I give you. Do you really think you can support yourself and Blaze? You don't need to worry about that. I'm not getting divorced." He hung up. I knew he had changed his mind. The divorce was going to be difficult. I clenched my jaw and called his father. If he doesn't agree to the divorce, I will sue for it. And if I sue, I will provide the evidence of his domestic abuse. The police have it all on their body cams. If you care at all about your family's reputation, you'll make Liam divorce me. Otherwise, I will make this whole thing public and let all your friends know your son is an abuser." His father started screaming on the other end of the line. "You venomous woman. You're a viper." In the end, I got my divorce. Liam's father dragged him to finalize the paperwork with me. After the waiting period, he dragged him back to get the official divorce certificate. I had finally left the man who constantly belittled me, gaslit me, and saw me as useless. From the moment I took Blaze to a city, I started to understand what real life was. Once the mental pressure was gone, I felt my health improve. I wasn't having trouble sleeping anymore, and my headaches disappeared. My commercial with Blaze was a huge success. After that, offers for ads started pouring in. Everyone was amazed by Blaze's on-camera presence, calling her a genius. Watching her thrive on set, I couldn't help but smile. Thank you, Blaze, for protecting me in this life. Blaze's POV. My name is Anya, and I'm 20 years old. A little while ago, my mom killed herself because of depression. I know the cause was the 2 decades of emotional abuse and gaslighting from my cold-blooded father. We weren't close. In fact, I hated him. For 20 years, I never heard him say a single nice thing about my mom. Yet he was perfectly happy to be waited on hand and foot. He just ordered everyone around all day like he was some kind of emperor. He had no idea how to respect people. I tried to save my mom, but after 20 years of his manipulation, her mental state was so fragile. I couldn't pull her out of that despair. It was only today that I realized I was probably the only thing tying her to this world. I'm in college now and have a boyfriend who truly loves me. My mom must have felt she had no regrets left. After entrusting me to my boyfriend, she took a bottle of pills. I cried for 3 days, praying to God that it was all a bad dream, that my mom would come back. Finally, I cried myself into a coma. When I opened my eyes again, I was a baby. And the first face I saw was my own father's, dozens of years younger. Ugh, gross. I was reborn. I yanked on my own hair. It hurt. I screamed my head off until he finally picked me up and handed me to my mom. The moment I saw her, I cried even harder. A new life. Could I change my mom's fate this time? Could I get her away from that monster? In my last life, my mom had postpartum depression. This time, even as an infant who couldn't control my own bladder, I learned to control my emotions. I made her life easy. I didn't cry, I didn't fuss. I slept through the night. To be blunt, she couldn't get postpartum depression even if she tried. Next, I set a series of plans in motion to drag my mom out of that hellhole. For example, I'd use my chubby baby hands to secretly unlock her phone and search for terms like silent treatment, domestic abuse, gaslighting, manipulation, and control freak, so the algorithms would start feeding her relevant content. And for another example, when I was 1.5, I crawled into the neighbor's garden, forcing my mom to meet the neighbor while looking for me. This neighbor was a woman who took crap from no one. With her guidance, my mom would surely realize how awful my dad was. How did I know all this? Because she was my boyfriend's mom. And that baby drooling in the cradle over there was my boyfriend. In my past life, my dad never let my mom take me out to play with other kids, so I never had any friends. I was completely cut off from the world. When she fell into depression, there was no one to help her. This time, I became a social butterfly, determined to build a network of friends for my mom. My mom said I was fearless and loved to be around people. She had no idea how much responsibility I was carrying. She had no idea how much this tiny body of mine was scheming. Sure enough, after a year of my hard work, my mom finally saw that my dad was manipulating her. This was, of course, all thanks to me. I'd frequently visit my future mother-in-law and tell her all about my dad, mixing truths with a little exaggeration. It made her see my mom as this poor, pitiful thing that needed all the encouragement and praise she could get. I really went all out for my mom. When she finally asked for a divorce, I was secretly listening from around the corner. I heard her say she'd take me on a trip for a month, but would bring me back to my dad afterward. There was no way I was staying with my dad. So during that month, I had to make my mom realize her own worth and find a way for her to make money. I'd been waving a terracotta warrior toy that my future mother-in-law gave me in front of my mom's face for a month. I wanted the words "a city" to subconsciously plant themselves in her brain. Why a city, you ask? Because I knew someone who was in love with her was there. The man who, after learning of her suicide, had cried his eyes out. I heard he was in his 40s and still single. So I was hoping my mom would go to a city and try her luck to see if she could find her own happiness. And what do you know, my efforts paid off. My mom took me to a city. On the train, I saw a girl taking pictures of us. I recognized her as an online influencer. So when she asked to post the video of me, I immediately agreed. If her video went viral, I would go viral. And making money? That would be a piece of cake. In a city, we spent a few days with my godfather. I constantly drilled into my mom's head that my godfather was a million times better than my dad. Everything was going great until my cold-blooded father showed up in a city. I had not seen that coming. But so what? After my dramatic performance of throwing him under the bus, he was branded a domestic abuser. And my mom used that to divorce him. Couldn't have been happier about it. Later, just as I planned, I went viral. My mom and I started doing commercials and making our own money. I was pretty satisfied with how everything turned out. The only thing I wasn't happy about was how subtle my godfather was being. He was so low-key about pursuing my mom that she couldn't even tell. Oh, and one more thing. In my last life, even though my boyfriend and I were neighbors, my dad never let my mom take me to play with other kids. So my boyfriend and I didn't meet until college, and only then did we realize our families used to live next to each other. So when I saw my future mother-in-law on vacation in a city, with my future boyfriend babbling and blowing spit bubbles next to her, does this mean we get to have a childhood sweetheart story in this life? I played with the chubby little boy, who was a year younger than me, while half listening to my mom and my future mother-in-law chat. Apparently, under pressure from his family, Liam got married again. He tried his whole manipulation and PUA routine again, but his second wife beat him so badly he ended up in the hospital. I heard his new wife was a Muay Thai fighter. She said she would never divorce him. If she did, he'd just go ruin some other girl's life. Better that she just take one for the team. Besides, having a walking punching bag at home was pretty convenient. Hearing that, I was secretly overjoyed. I didn't even mind wiping the snot from my future boyfriend's nose. The end.